Hello, everyone. Welcome to another AZ Ray video. Today, I have an esteemed guest, Adisa Bankojo. He has many accolades. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and not just deadly on the ground, deadly with the hands, knows some weapon play. I won't reveal his secrets, as a martial artist. Some things you gotta keep it on the low low.
Download.
Podcaster extraordinaire. I know he's also part of like a men's development group and met with the men's resilience. He's a hugely into like philosophy. He is just a well-read, awesome, easygoing person. And I thought he was one of the first people that came to mind when I wanted to talk about Rocky, talk about this impact. The reason why we're doing this video, having this conversation, is because December 3rd was the anniversary of the first film of Rocky. And although there's like a huge catalog of films, there's a huge like anthology, and like there's also Creed too. I just feel like his impact, or the impact that was created with Rocky, it's like it deserves its conversation. So thank you, Adisa, for taking the time to do this. So I just wanted to pick your head about Rocky, man.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on. It's good to see you. It's been a minute since we got to chop, so this is cool. Man, I mean, I'm old, so I remember when Rocky came out. I saw it in the theaters at a place called Ceremony 6. So in Daly City, California, that used to be the main movie house, like for the peninsula area. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of on the border of the end of the peninsula and the beginning of San Francisco. So Ceremony 6 was like the big place. So, I just remember coming out of Rocky with my cousin Steve, and we were both like, what? You know what I mean? Like, it was like the craziest movie. And then, of course, all the kids in the neighborhood are pretending to be boxers. And, maybe like for real, it was really big at that time. For real, kids had Everlast boxing gloves. Every kid. That was
Oh,
like a
damn.
thing of that time. I'm talking about whenever that movie was at. What year did that movie come out?
I want to say 76, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
was
let's look it up.
76, 77, but like, dude, like every kid had boxing gloves. And like at some point, no matter what you would do over the weekend, you'd run around, play, ride your bike, da, da, da. At some point, someone would say, hey, who has gloves? And then you would box in the garage and someone would, but it was cool. You know what I mean? Like it was 76, 77, and that's what we did. And it was a great thing, right? It was authentically a great thing. So it's great that we're having this conversation. You were right. Before we started, you were talking about, just like the legacy and the cult classic amazingness of that film, and it's really real. And I think part of it is um our fascination as a country with physical violence in a healthy way. I don't mean
Sure.
like a bad way, right? Like I mean like there's something in us as a living organism that is excited by the conflict of two men, however they get down, right? Why is WWE big? Why is Rocky big? Why is Bruce Lee big? Because that's, I think, part of our primal core, honestly. And
Sure.
I don't even think it's just men, women too, right? Every living human, I think, has a part of that in them. And Rocky was a profoundly impactful movie that, as you said it before we started, it is a martial arts movie, but I don't think it's considered a martial arts movie. But
Sure.
there's no question that it is. I thought that was really cool. It was just to
Yeah,
show,
no, absolutely. And then
you know.
no, and your comment especially saying that uh like the love of violence, and there's a purity to it, right? There's a purity to boxing, there's a purity to combat sports, that it's like it's the realest of the realest, right? It's like, yeah, you can beat someone at baseball, you can beat someone at hoops, but like the end all be all.
It's these, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like, like it's a fascination. It's not just a love, right? We're fascinated. Like, look at how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu evolves,
Sure.
right? Like, people forget that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a living martial art, meaning there are moves today that Helio Gracie didn't know exist. There are positions that Helio Gracie didn't know exist because he was innovating then. Then it comes to America and Japan, more people innovate, right? So I was telling my students, the black belt that I have on my belt when you become black belts, you will know things, positions, and perspectives that I don't know because it's alive. So a black belt today knows things that Elio didn't know, but Elio was innovating off what the Japanese had made, and this is a beautiful thing. And
No,
so
yeah.
that is part of the fruit of fascination, right? With
No, sure. And then Rocky did a great job of exposing that. Like when we finally got to like link up, right? We were ironically in the UK, and
yeah.
like, dude, every place I've been to, not that I've traveled so many places, but like when I was in like when I went to France and I went to Italy and people like start talking about it, like
Mhm.
Rocky will always come up in the conversation, you know what I mean? And then as
Always.
a Mexican, it's like, come on, dude, boxing's our thing. And like there's not one Mexican that doesn't like Rocky, you know what I mean? It's like the appeal of it is just like similar to your other comment, like jiu-jitsu martial arts. Like there's just appeal and a realness to it. And just to tie it back with the film a little bit, when you actually like watch the film, right? You think it would be like 90% training or something, but
Right,
it's
right, right.
it's like the fight is what, maybe 20, maybe 40 minutes, and maybe it's like
Maybe.
such a small like section of it. Most of it, you see his life, right? You see like him trying to survive in the streets, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to remember, he's like a muscle for a mob or something like that, right?
Yeah, and then he's working in that meat shop, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's
That
right.
meat packing plant or whatever. And then like, like even like and again, to your point about it being about martial arts, like so much of it is about the gap between his understanding and Mickey's understanding.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? How Mickey's like, no, that's not, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, what do you mean, man? Come on, Mickey, I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not. You know, he'd be on his way. You know, I wrote this thing. I have a thing on Medium where I write about jujitsu, and one of it is about the value of coaches and mentors, and I kind of go through, how, and this is way before your time, but the kung fu TV show, right? You had Master Po, like would tell Kwai Chang Kane like how to train, and da da da
Sure,
da.
sure. Grasshopper. That's what you're talking about, right?
Exactly, right?
Yeah, dude. Hey, I being a Mexican, I watched that growing up like in Spanish though. All dubbed.
Dude, like I was raised on it. That was my first lunchbox in kindergarten, was kung
Are you
fu.
serious? David
Yeah, yeah.
Carradine?
Yeah,
Oh,
you Google like kung fu lunchbox, you'll see it. That was me, bro. 1975. Hey,
dude.
so but my point is, I used a clip of, I'm not sure whether it was Rocky 2 or 3, but the thing is, it's a clip that's just so beautiful, man. Like literally, I'll cry if I talk about it too much. And basically, he's in the gym by himself at night trying to remember Mickey's words. I'll start crying right now, bro.
Dude, no, I think that's Rocky 3. Dude,
Dude,
that's my
it's such a
favorite.
powerful scene, bro. That's such a
Absolutely.
powerful scene. And he's talking about these cuffs that he got from these cuffs that I think he said he got them from Jack Dempsey or whatever. And so it's him.
Oh, damn.
It's crazy. It's so moving, and that mentor student thing is a part of the game. It don't matter whether it's boxing,
Absolutely.
whether it's kung fu, right? Like if you don't have that, like it doesn't get transferred. You know what
No,
I mean?
absolutely. No, because like we know from the beginning meeting Rocky Balboa's character, we know he has like the will, the physical ability, even though he's like not taking his career seriously because he has like other things going on. Like he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have like the fear to perform, or he doesn't have like the fear. Maybe fear is not the right word, but he doesn't have like he doesn't. What was that?
The anxiety.
Yeah, there you go. He doesn't have the anxiety to like hold him back for sure. Cause and that because like you know what I mean, a fighter, right? Or a person even willing to do any kind of martial art, boxing in this case, like that's one ingredient, right? But if you don't have like the level head, if you don't have like the fight IQ, the realism, like you know what I mean? Like if you don't have everything, someone to like break it down, like no, it's important, man. Like you need because like is it you could be the most athletic person and you think you can have like a mind body control, but like no matter how good you are, you need an outside perspective to like to better understand what you need, right? Because
Yeah.
our perception of what we think we need, what we actually
Bro,
need, it's like it's
there's a huge gap.
absolutely
Huge gap. And you know, like even when you look at Paulie, you know what I mean? Like the guy who believes in him, even if nobody else does, even
sure,
with all of Paulie's little imperfections or whatever.
sure,
And then I am late to this. I swear, I just learned this year. I didn't know Paulie was a real boxer in his time.
right.
I had no idea he was a real. And they showed a picture of him hella young with the gloves, and I was like, no idea.
Yeah,
Like no idea, man. And like, you know, again, dating myself massively, you know, the Rocky soundtrack was
oh,
I,
dude, that's another great point, dude. All
I
right, keep
remember
going though. The
buying that
soundtrack.
soundtrack as a D as a CD at Streetlight Records in San Jose. I think it's on Bascom Avenue. I don't know if it's still there. It might be. I'm a loner and a weirdo, so I don't go anywhere. And all my music is online, right? But like I bought that CD and like I didn't always play it, but it was always important to me to have it. And my favorite song on that actually isn't the main theme song. There's a symphony version of The Contender that's played like with strings. Epic. You know what I'm
Dude,
saying? Like, dude, if anything makes you want to start hitting people, as soon as you hear that, you're like, grink, grink, right? And
yeah,
look,
dude.
Notorious B.I.G. Victory.
I was
Arguably,
just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that, dude.
right? And as soon as
Dude.
I heard,
Boom, boom.
what?
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? You already know. As soon as you hear that,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, you know,
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It's
I'm
such
trying,
a
who's
beautiful.
it's Biggie, Diddy, and is Busta Rhymes in it?
It's Biggie, Diddy, and Busta Rhymes did the hook. You
Yeah,
know,
dude.
like,
Where the
you know,
F you at?
like,
Yeah.
and then I'll tell you the coldest thing. If you really want to get your cranium flipped, go onto YouTube and put in Tupac Revolution.
Okay.
And you hit, okay. So what happens is, what year was that? It was after Tupac was killed. I'd say maybe 2 years later. DJ Vlad, Green Lantern, and there was another DJ. I feel so bad because I don't like not giving everybody their acknowledgments. It's just been a long time. Vlad, Green Lantern, and someone else put unheard Tupac lyrics on the Victory beat, and then Vlad was able to get Busta Rhymes to redo the hook.
Oh, damn.
That it fit Tupac.
Dang.
It's called Revolution. In my opinion, it's one of the best hip hop remixes of all time. Not kidding. I think Chris Rock said that mixtape was his favorite mixtape ever. And I know that
Okay.
song is one of the main reasons. Revolution.
Wow.
DJ Vlad, Green
Oh, good
Lantern,
looking out.
Dirty Harry. Oh, I'm glad. The brain. The brain. And
Still
Dirty
got
Harry.
it. Still
Shout
got
out
it.
to Harry because I don't think he ever got enough props for his role on that mixtape. But I promise you, unbelievable.
No, wow. Appreciate that. Dude, no, thanks for bringing up the music, dude. I didn't even think about that.
Dude,
Dude, and then
I get
Eye of the
goosebumps.
Tiger,
That song gives me,
Survivor.
come on, dude. Right? And look at Apollo Creed and what that character does for Black America, like, and for films, because then you got the Creed films later. Who saw that
Absolutely.
coming? Right? And one of the main writers, I believe, for the Creed movies is, oh man, I'm doing horrible right now. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. The Black
Is
Panther guy. Cool Blade, Brian.
it's the guy whoever did Luke Cage had a hand in some of the Creed movie script writing. And I'm
Oh, dude,
blanking.
Luke Cage is amazing, man. That was like my favorite of that little thing they did.
Yeah. Cheo Coker. Cheo Coker was one of the writers on one of the first or second Creed movies. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's like, dude, like, and where do they come from? They come from hip hop writing. right? They come from hip hop writing. Cheo Coker used to write for The Source and the Bomb magazine locally and stuff like that. And he got to a point he wanted to switch to screenwriting and tried to do screenwriting for years and was, not very successful. And then all of that turns into BAM, right? So shout out to Cheo Coker and his success and all of the black writers who came up from that. But also, as you talk about like how you were watching, kung fu in Spanish and stuff like that, like, again, dating myself, I still remember Hagler and Hearns. I still remember Roberto Duran,
Oh,
right?
hell yeah.
Like my
Or
father's
Three
whole
Kings, yeah.
family, yeah, my whole family is from the South, but in the Bay, they're from the Mission District, which is where all the Latinos look up. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh, sure.
that's where I was. I don't want to say I was raised there, but every time I went to my grandma's, I was just running around the Mission. You know what I'm saying? So this was like my understanding of lowrider culture, my
Sure.
understanding of lowrider bikes, my understanding of all of that was huge. And what was a lot of the pride for Mexicans and Latinos in America at that time was Roberto Duran. Are you kidding me? He was like the Jordan of the times when it come to the gloves. You feel me?
Sure.
And so like it was weird because I had a friend named Ivan Mayorga, and he lived up the street from me. And I literally I was looking for his brother's name. I couldn't find it, but his brother was a boxer. He was
It's not
from
Ricardo Mayorga?
I don't know. I don't remember. I was a kid, bro. I mean, I'm talking about like 10, 11 years old.
Oh,
right?
sure.
80, 81, you know what I'm saying? And his
Yeah.
brother was a dope boxer who used a lot of his first fight money to get a crazy lowrider. So he had hands and he had the coolest lowrider. You know what I'm saying? So like me and Ivan
Oh,
would be
man. If you
playing
know, you know, man. Yeah.
his brother was always nice to me, and his mother was always nice to me, and she would make me food. And obviously I didn't speak Spanish and she didn't speak English, and he would like translate. And so, like him and his brother's love for boxing and my love for Roberto Duran, it was huge. You know what I'm saying? And I also know that in some ways, I think that, because it was America, right? So America is always going to play the race thing, right, on everybody, right?
Sure.
White society,
Sure.
Mexican culture, Black culture.
Sure.
And I know that at times, if you talk to different people, like, Sugar Ray versus Hearns, and, her Sugar Ray versus Duran.
Leonard or Learns, yeah.
Yeah. Like those were, those were big fights. And sometimes I think that there was manufactured racial tension.
Absolutely.
But when I was in the Mission, nobody ever gave me drama.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
loved, you know what I'm saying? And
No, absolutely. No, and it's part of the marketing too, right?
yeah, man. We all love
Yeah.
Duran, man. Like he's still, like, to me, he doesn't get enough props still, right? But looping it back to Rocky, like that energy around Roberto Duran, around Sugar Ray Leonard, around Hearns and Hagler, so much of that was driven by Rocky and Apollo Creed and
Oh, absolutely.
our emotional attachments to that spectacle, man. It was beautiful.
Probably did the biggest thing for boxing ever, right? We talked about it slightly earlier too. Like, I want to say it's when Rocky got the Oscar or
Yeah.
some kind of award. He's like pretending to shadow box with like Muhammad
Yeah.
Ali, who presented with. I can't remember the award show,
Yeah,
but I
you're
want.
right. I do remember something like that happening. I do. And it was also weird too, right? Because it felt outwardly, even to me as a child, that entire movie was based on like low self-esteem for white America for not having a white champion in real life.
Okay.
Right. And so we got to have this movie where the Italian guy pulls it off. And
Okay.
I didn't care because all the champs that I knew were in real life were dope. And so, like, do you remember Eddie Murphy's, I don't know if it was Delirious or Raw, but he has a
Yeah.
joke series
Yeah.
where
Yeah. I've seen both of them. Yeah.
got overhyped about Rocky. Do you remember that? when he's like, "Yo, I want some jujubes and 2 popcorns, and the moolie's gonna pay for my food." And he's like, "What?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and like that was funny because I remember that energy. The reason that joke is hilarious is because that energy did really exist, right?
Sure.
But the
No,
thing
dude,
was,
he catch so many strays, dude. Who does he makes fun of Jackson? He like, and it's crazy because they're boys. Like, dude, he just didn't respect
you know
them. But
what I
yeah,
mean?
side tangent. Yeah,
But it was great though. I mean, the whole thing is, like I know in a time right now where there's all these hard right and hard left
sure,
arguments around race and culture and the war on wokeness, which I still don't even know what wokeness is. I always ask people what wokeness is and nobody seems to be able to tell me when I ask them. But we'll say the war against wokeness, whatever that is. At that time, man, like the culture was just brimming. And think about the quality of those times. And when I say the times, I mean the quality of the fighters, the
sure,
quality of the hype, right?
sure,
The quality of the impact of the movies, and then like the return wave, right, from the average citizens. And now you look at Jake Paul versus Tyson, and what a disappointing era, right?
sure,
Like we don't eat, of course, Canelo's a G, and you know what I'm saying, handling business. And I don't follow boxing the way I should because I'm more of a jiu-jitsu guy and an MMA guy, right? But I know who Canelo is, and I know how important he is to the culture, right? But he doesn't get his props. Jake Paul's getting props before the 60-year-old man.
sure,
What are we doing, right? And the thing
sure,
is like we don't even appreciate Jake Paul as a fighter. We just want to see someone get knocked out.
sure,
Right. So then there's all these other weird characters who find their way into the ring and they're doing all this stuff. And as all of this is happening, beautiful, gifted, serious, focused, Black, Latino, Italian boxers are getting no love.
sure,
Between the rise of MMA and the circus of like Jake Paul style fights,
sure,
real boxing is dying on the vine. And that breaks my heart. It
sure.
absolutely breaks my heart.
No, true. It's yeah, it was a different time for sure. And then the power of like back then, like local television. And then the other thing too, like to your point with the hype of Rocky, because as the films progressed, right, to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth one, the fifth one, it definitely also helped probably even elevate the Olympics, right? People actually knew what Olympic boxers are, right? Like Leonard, he's like an
Yeah,
Olympic boxer, right?
yeah.
So people actually knew who they were, right? I
No,
wanna
and it
say the
was
last, like, Olympic boxer that was kinda got some shine, I wanna say it was, like, Holyfield? I'm trying to or Jones Ju I'm trying to remember, like, the last Olympians that people are like, "Oh, yeah," But,
I
like
think you're
oh,
right.
De La Hoya was probably one of the bigger ones too.
Yeah, De La Hoya, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, I apologize for not even saying his name
No,
because
no worries, no worries.
I remember how dope he was to me, how how smooth he moved.
Sure,
Oh my God. I mean, it was fantastic. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the beautiful thing about boxing, honestly, is like, even though I'm obviously like talking about the 70s and 80s and racial conflicts and different kinds of perceptions and manipulation of perceptions, at the end of the day, what I feel is that when you get to the top, and I mean the actual top of the real fighters, right? That all the men we just named, right? That the reason what happens is because these people are so beautifully courageous and strategic, and we know how much work they put into, you know what I mean, to be the kind of men that they are, Tyson, etc., that that no matter what the manipulation on any side may be or attempt to be, the transcendence comes from the beauty of the fight itself. Like, no matter how you feel about Muslims, when you see Muhammad Ali, you're like, whoa. No matter how you feel about, you know what I'm saying?
sure.
No matter what your
It's
political
like the
stand,
ultimate equalizer, right? It doesn't
right?
matter there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see
It's
De La Hoya, you see Duran, you see Canelo, you're like, wow, don't,
sure,
right? What are you talking about? Right? Like it demands that we transcend our humanity And
No.
and because Rocky was such a big deal, I think in many ways, leading so many people to boxing, no matter what they became, they got to touch even just a piece of that spark of
Sure.
transcendence.
Even boxing on like a fitness level, right? Like the gym's like, hey, like not even trying to like do nothing but to stay in shape. You know, people got the
Yeah,
and like maybe it's just me or you know, or I'm sure you too. Like I know a lot of people that have never ever like went to a boxing gym, but they'll have like a bag at home or they'll have
yeah,
like some gloves and
exactly.
like just to
I'm one of
like
you know, I'm one of them, man. And I
yeah, I
I
got a
just
bag too, sure.
did you ever see I think it's called Fightworld on Netflix. Have you seen Fightworld?
Yeah. When
He goes to
yeah,
around
he
the world.
travels. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, my favorite episode is Mexico City.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
No, of course, dude. He
Dude,
gives shine to so many coaches that people like on the dude. I'm like, I'm so surprised. He went to like all the slums too,
dude,
and he like, yeah,
dude,
it's
he went to
super
the
raw.
hoods, right? That that um that episode and all the episodes to me are dope. I'm not fronting on any of those episodes.
Sure.
I don't think it got renewed. I don't think it had one season, but man, I'll tell you that Mexico City, that I sent that to everyone. I was like, bro, go on Netflix. Watch this. Those boxers are not
Oh,
playing.
Frank Grillo. That was his name. Frank
Yeah,
Grillo.
look at my man.
Yeah, it took me a second.
You know what I mean? And I just love this idea that we can use our sports to transcend politics, boxing, religion, culture.
Absolutely.
I think that's beautiful, you know. It's beautiful.
No, you bring up a good point. Although, like the last, I would say, like last 3 5 years, like boxing's doing decent. Like what you have, like Spence Crawford, you have like Tyson Fury, the heavyweights. Wilder did some stuff,
Yeah. Tyson
but
Fury.
to your point, it hasn't transcended on the same level and the same appeal that it deserves. Like all respects to Mike Tyson and
Of
to
course.
Jake Paul, they did what they did. But I get your point. Like my thoughts on the event. Like I respect both gentlemen. They did the
Of
thing,
course.
right? But should this
Yeah.
be the thing? Should that be the like the conversation? Should that be the it's complex though, but I will give Paul his flowers. I'm really happy with what he did with like Amanda Serrano's career, who was just
Wow, that was
this
so
like
great. And that's hard to push back on. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
He deserves respect for that. He
ju-
does.
yeah, at least like yeah, as a character, as whatever. But I don't know. I respect anybody who gets in there, dude. Amateur, Golden Gloves, don't mean, but like him elevating like Serrano, like I got to give him his flowers for that too.
That is quite beautiful.
Yeah,
That is
dude, I
quite
was when the fight was happening, man, like I just wanted to watch the Serrano Katie Taylor too because the first one was awesome and the second one was too. I think Serrano got it, but body shots, they just don't count body shots the same. And dude, when Jake Paul came on, I just couldn't, man. I turned off the TV. I just couldn't, man. I couldn't get myself to watch it. I just couldn't.
You know what? You know, I did watch it.
Okay.
Um, I did watch it, and you know, the thing for me was just like I'm always gonna say again, dating myself, right? Taking myself back to the era when Tyson was new, bro. Like he was such a physical, strategic powerhouse and phenomenon. It was nobody ever. I remember watching the first fight he had where he didn't beat the person completely to death in the first few rounds. He fought a guy named Bone Crusher Smith. And I remember Bone Crusher Smith making it to the last round and then and then he lost, right? He lost on the points or whatever to Tyson. But I remember looking at Bone Crusher Smith and being like, what a monster he is to live through a Tyson 10 round or 12 round thing. I mean, it was unbelievable. And, you know, Tyson was such an uncommon icon that, you know, if you weren't around for it, it won't make sense. Right. If you weren't around for it, it won't make sense. He was so unique. And I'm glad that he got whatever money he got because we don't really know what his life is like or what would make him feel like he needed to do that. And I also worry that it would tarnish his legacy, but it actually doesn't because it it makes those that care about it will look into who he is and what he really did and how he really moved, and you'll be impressed by the journey of that man.
No, absolutely. No, definitely well said. No, yeah, I would argue that Tyson, Michael Jackson, and the Beatles were probably like the three most like famous American commodities like till this day. Like, yeah. And people know him for different reasons, right?
It's
Like
totally
I like when I was born, I got the tail end of
Mhm.
Tyson. I remember the freaking ear bite. Like I didn't get prime Tyson. But the good thing about being a Mexican boxing fan, like they do a good job of like giving you old highlights or old fights.
Yeah,
Or
bro.
we still like I still knew what he was. And then like, he had his controversies and all that kind of stuff with
Of
like
course.
Robin Given, all kinds of stuff like
Yeah, it
that.
was mayhem, man.
I
It
grew
was
up in his drama. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, man. He was and is such a conflicted and multifaceted human, as we
Sure,
all are, but as a champion so public, is very
sure,
powerful. You know, maybe because of Jake Paul and Tyson, maybe that is the Rocky story of the new era that makes people go back and care about boxing for real. I hope that's what happens, right? Because a lot of what's passing for boxing right now is just celebrity bum fights, right? And we don't
sure.
like to admit that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And,
Well,
and
that was a thing too, though, right? There was celebrity boxing in the '80s too. But I get your point, though. It's weird that it's like merging and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I just feel like nobody cares about the sweet science anymore. Like that's the thing. Like of course, the spectacle of another human being getting KO'd is always going to be attractive to another human. You know what I mean?
sure,
More often than not, right?
sure.
But even when you like, there's a song. It's a rap song. Hold on. It's Vinnie Paz and Jizza. I think it's
Oh,
called On the Threshold of War. What is it? But anyway, what's really interesting about it is between the rounds, there's like fight commentary. And so like the dude will go, and instead of there being like an actual hook, it's fight commentary. And it's live fight commentary. You hear the bell ringing. It's like ding, ding, ding. It's like, and then you see him, he's going to the body. Now, when he goes to the body, and then in comes Jizza. You know what I mean? And it's like,
damn.
yo,
No, dude, I gotta check it out. I haven't heard it.
and so I love and it too. When you hear the beat, I actually feel bad because if I was on my stuff, I'd be able to tell you where the beat comes from. But it's another kind of like boxing melody and harmony that as soon as you hear it, you'll know it. Yeah, a
Okay,
lot of boxers have come out to the song, and I don't know if it may even be from another Rocky movie that I don't remember, but
okay.
you'll hear it and
No,
you'll
there's
be
a
like,
lot of good boxing movies. Raging
you know what I'm
Bull.
saying?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so exactly, it could have come from one of those, but I love it. And the rapper Vinnie Paz is based on like the boxer, right? There's another boxer, right, named
Oh
Vinnie,
yeah, yeah. Vinny
right?
Pazienza.
So that's where the rapper got his name from.
Oh,
You
that's
see
a
what I'm saying?
crazy story too,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that's
My
where the rapper got
goodness,
his
got
name
hit
from.
by a car or something.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's like I really I guess what happens is because of my generation, when I see what happened with Jake Paul and Tyson, and we start talking about all of this beautiful ripple effect of Rocky and the unrecognized ripple effect, right? It's not just a ripple effect, it's often unrecognized, meaning that he's impacting the culture, but he's been around for so long, it's like he's so close to you, you don't even see that he's the reason, you know what I mean? He's a big part of the reason we care at all. And it's just it's beautiful, man. It's a great thing to be alive, to be around, to see all of it actually.
No, no. And thank you for sharing your story. That's super cool that you got to see the first one. You even remember it. Do you have a favorite of this series? Well, we can do like Rocky
You know
by
what?
itself, and then
I
maybe
think my
Creed.
favorite is when he fights Ivan Drago.
Rocky
That was the
4.
hardest. Yeah, yeah. I really like that because who saw the death of Apollo Creed coming? Right? Like
True.
who saw that coming? Like, we're friends
Nobody.
forever, and da da da. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I still remember when they slow mo the towel being thrown in or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
all slow. I was just like crazy. And then also I remember when his wife is arguing with him about like how he couldn't win, he's like, oh, you don't understand, you can't win. And he was like, what? You know what I mean? And then it's crazy because in real life, apparently, and maybe I get this wrong, but when Ali went to go fight at the Rumble of the Jungle, his wife told him that she didn't think he was going to win. I don't know.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but it does come up in the movie Ali with Will Smith.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, snap. I was like, is that where they got that thing from the movie? So I don't know if that's something they just threw in to add drama, but in that movie, there's a scene where she tells him that she doesn't think he's going to win. And, I mean, think about that for any man, for the woman you love more than anything on earth to tell you that she doesn't believe you have it in you, and then you go do it, right? It doesn't matter even whether it's true or not. That's a great thing for a man to have to overcome.
No,
Right.
absolutely. Did you watch the ultimate director's cut? I haven't seen it yet either. So I guess like he wasn't happy with whatever happened with because I'm not sure if you know of this, but like it's been a headache for like Sylvester Stallone to get the rights to the Rocky films. Apparently, like some old head still has it, and so a lot of creative things have made an issue with it. And he really bumped heads when it came to like Rocky 4. And
Really?
apparently during COVID, he like remastered it, added like 42 minutes of footage and stuff, and it's supposed to be decent.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll look into that. That's
Yeah,
lit.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like they just added unforeseen stuff and like he took off like I guess the robot scene that people make fun of. Dude, it's fine. It's 80s, man. There's no
It's a
robots, no 80s. Come on, man.
we go in that direction. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of robots that year.
Yeah.
That decade. But no, man. I mean, I think that all that stuff is important, and I think it's important to keep the legacy of Rocky movies going because it's good for the country, and I think it's good for humanity to have these kinds of sports to find their transcendence through sportive combat. I think it's important.
No, absolutely, right? Because like when it comes down to it, we're all humans, right? Like we shouldn't get caught up in the tribalism and the divisions, We're one world, one people.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And
Absolutely.
boxing, like other martial arts or just other things with art, right? Like it's such a beautiful thing where like we talked about it earlier, like it's like an equalizer. Like when it comes down to it, you know what I mean, all that stuff kind of doesn't matter, right? It's just will against will, and so let's
Totally.
see.
No,
Yeah.
man, it's fantastic, man. I appreciate you for even having this idea and including me in the conversation. This was great. This was
No. I know. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate. No, Rocky 4 is a good pick, man. Like arguably, probably the best like montages. He's like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
the log on. It's
The
yeah.
log. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
Come
my
on, man.
answer would have to be I like Rocky 3, man. To me that's just it has like so many cool ideas, and then and I would argue it's the most philosophical of all of them, right? It, like it kind
Mhm,
of flirts with a little Socrates, a little
mhm,
like
mhm.
Miyamoto Musashi, and like the enemy becomes the ally. Like,
Yeah, all of that.
dude,
That was crazy. And then it's crazy. There's another rapper. His name is One Below, but it's ONEBE. It's like ONE space BE space LO. One Below.
okay,
He used to be a part of this rap group called Binary Star, but I think he made a song called Smash.
okay.
And on that song, he samples Clubber Lang.
Oh, that's
I'm one of
awesome,
the best ever. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? And like every once in a while,
dude.
bro, Smash.
Dude, I wish I don't have it with me at the moment, but freaking I have like my big water jug, my gallon that I take for work, and has like a
Yeah.
little cover on it, and I got Mr. T like around it. Dude, Mr. T, dude. Gosh, dude.
Yo, you know what I
Paid it a
mean?
full A team. Oh my god, dude. I don't care what anybody
Come
says,
on,
man. A team
come
is
on.
epic, man.
You know what I'm saying? And so, no, I mean, all of that stuff is the whole goal. I read this thing recently. It's so funny. It's coming to me right now. That originally Clubber Lang was supposed to be Jamaican.
Oh.
So he was originally supposed to be Jamaican, and then somehow, I think Sylvester Stallone saw Mr. T, I think when he was still just a bodyguard or something like that, and he was like, yo, you know what I mean? Been acting, and then they put it together. But like he wasn't the original goal. The original goal was to have some Jamaican dude, you know, coming off the island being next level.
That's cool. That's a cool idea too. Dang. No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, like I'm talking about within the last 2 months, I just stumbled.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm trying to remember too. I want to say it's either Clubber Lang or Creed. I remember him like he was supposed to be casted by like another actual legit boxer. I just can't remember which one.
Really? Wow,
I
yeah.
can't remember if anyone's. No, for sure. What about the Creed movies? Which do you have have you seen all three of them?
No, I have not, man. I have not. You know what I mean? Like, what? And that's just because I'm old, and like, for some reason, about, I don't know, like a few years ago, bro, I almost completely stopped watching television. Like, I almost watch nothing. I almost never go to the movies.
Oh,
You know what I'm
dude,
saying?
respect. There's nothing wrong with
I don't
that.
know how I did it. Like, I literally just got Netflix back for the first time in forever. I watch nothing. I have nothing. I don't even watch stuff on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, it's strange. And so
I respect that, dude. I honestly see that as a positive thing of level of growth, man.
no, me too. But what that also means is what other people gather around culturally, I'm completely unconnected to, and that makes me feel like I'm out of the damn loop a lot. You know what I mean? Because it still matters and it is cool, and you know what I mean. So I haven't, and but I'm glad they exist, and I'm glad that the Creed movies carry on the legacy, because I think I'm about to jump on a little soapbox. Let me dust it off and set it right here. I think that American children need more boxing in their life. I think that they need more jiu-jitsu in their life. They need more karate and judo. They need more all of it, and not as like, oh, everybody should train martial arts. But what I mean is, I'm observing as an educator, I'm observing an unprecedented lack of fitness and mental sharpness in so many American children. Like, I'm not even going to say American boys, right? Because then well, what's it mean? I don't want to go down that wormhole. What I want to say is, young people are going through the prime of their lives from like 12, 13 all the way to 18 with very little sportive engagement, unless a parent or something just is sparked in them. You know what I mean? And I would love it I would love to, you know, when I was a kid, you could walk past any given garage in any given neighborhood and see a bunch of kids sitting watching two other kids box each other in the garage or on grass. And we just don't do that anymore. I'll tell you a story. This is hilarious. When I was in the 7th grade, 1983, my teacher, anybody tell you, the school was called Pacific Heights in San Bruno. And at Pacific Heights in 1983, there was a PE teacher. Rest in peace to Mr. Silver. Okay. If you, let's say me and you were in class, and somehow he hears through the grapevine that you want to fight me, okay? He'll be like, hey, Adis, I heard what's up with that? And I'll be like, yeah. And he'd be like, do you want to fight him? And if I say yeah, he would put paper on the windows, you know, to the door. He had a drawer with 2 pairs of boxing gloves, and he would say, everybody push their seats back and stay quiet. He would box in class.
Sure.
And he would be like, whoever wins, I don't want to hear about fighting in the street. I don't want to hear about fighting on the bus. Nothing. We end it right here. Now, what if I didn't want to fight? And I'm like, actually, I don't want to fight. I'm kind of scared. Da, da, da. He'd be like, all right, he doesn't want to fight you. Don't let me hear about you for hitting him on the bus. And everybody would squash it. Everybody from that school saw fights in class. Everybody. Now, can you imagine if that happened today? That dude would like 17 misdemeanors and 5 felonies. He would lose his teaching license.
Sure.
But Mr. Silver, anybody from Pacific Heights will remember And you know that comes from the Rocky ripple effect. He was from New York. Mr. Silver was from New York. You know what I mean? So, you know, you traded hands and you kept it moving. And that's like, I think our education system and our mainstream culture needs more of that.
No, I hear you. A lot of other countries implement it more, right? Like, it's like more normalized in schools where people learn like martial arts in schools in other countries, and there's like, Japan's a great example of that. Various Russian countries, Georgian countries, where like martial art is the sport, and you
Yeah.
see how much of a difference it does, right? And
Yeah.
it's not even just like just to have the knowledge and the ability, right? But you're like working towards a skill and you're progressing, and then you're seeing your limits. And the beauty of martial art too is that it puts you on a path of endless development. If like once you see what you can do, to your point, right? Hypothetical, let's say 10, 11, 12, chubby, whatever body type you are, and you see like, dude, this is what I can do now. What would happen if I made some adjustments and made some changes and
What
just
happened if I ate a little bit better? What happened if I jump rope more? What happened if I just went for a jog? What happened? Right. And I mean, and that's
yeah.
the beauty of that
And you
self-discovery.
see your
Right?
progression, right? That's one of those things too, right? Like it's there's a barometer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you can like it's trackable, and when you're training, you can see it too. It's like, oh dang, I move my head better. Like I got
You
yeah.
know, the footwork, the hands, and you know what it is? It's just seeing an individual in any given martial art achieve something that they didn't think they could achieve. I have a student named Steve, and he is just starting jujitsu at 57.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. A few weeks ago, we were talking, and he was like, "Hey, you know what, Professor?" He said, "I was rolling with so and so, and I don't know whether he pulled off an armbar or a choke or something, but he goes, when I came in here, I saw those moves, and I never thought that I could do that stuff. Like I love jujitsu, and I thought I'd have fun doing it, and it is fun, but I didn't think I'd be able to do any arm bars. And it's that elevation. And I teach at Half Gracie, spelled Ralph, at Half Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in San Jose and Santa Clara, and we have one of the strongest teams in the Bay right now. Like, and we've all, we're one of the first teams in the Bay, but we're one of the strongest right now. And I get to teach everybody from toddlers all the way up to Steve's age and older than Steve, right? And I love seeing kids. If you ever want to just watch your heart split open from joy, go see a girl who came in terrified to put a gi on, just walk out and like trip some dude and arm lock him in like 2 minutes. When she first came in, she didn't think she could do anything, right? Or when boys were on top of her trying to choke her, she was holding back tears, right? But you convince her she didn't do anything wrong. That's just how the game goes. And you come back, we'll try it again, and I'll show you some extra stuff. And to see those kids get to wear gold medals, and to see those little boys who come in, not really aggressive, super shy, out of shape, start to lean out, start to feel their own strength, start to experience moments of supreme bravery, and maybe they didn't get the tap, but they weathered a bunch of attacks, and they didn't, they didn't get submitted, and the joy from that, man, that is a priceless thing. That is a priceless thing. And I wish more kids, like in the UAE, jiu-jitsu is the national sport in every society, school, cops, everybody's doing jiu-jitsu in the UAE.
Crazy.
Man, it's all judo, right? You go to Russia, it's going to be judo or wrestling, right? It's going to be judo or wrestling. And they do a lot of karate. They have a fighting style called Kyudo, which is Kyokushin karate mixed with judo, right? And obviously you have Muay Thai. Obviously you have, you know what I'm saying? Enshin karate, which is a blending of Kyokushin with judo as well, right? Enshin karate. And so it's like there's so many beautiful styles out there. Like there's just not a reason, I don't think, that our children, and when I say our, I mean the world's children, right? When I say our, I don't just mean Black children, Muslim children, American children. I mean the world's children deserve a chance to feel that. And if it comes through boxing, that's beautiful. I don't care where it comes from, but I think boxing is a beautiful reason and a way for it to be there.
And it ironically makes you more peaceful, right? That's the biggest secret of martial arts, right? People think it would make you into, I guess Yeah, but it doesn't, man. I guess there is. I'm sure there's still bad teachers, but overall, generally speaking,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
90
yeah.
like
You're always
90
gonna have a weirdo teacher. You're always gonna have like a
sure.
super hyped up dude who's tripping out on his own ego or whatever. But like I was telling some of my students literally this week, I said the reason why jiu-jitsu is nonviolent, but I think it applies to boxing or anything else as well, is I said you do all this training, you never have to use it, whatever, whatever, and then one day a situation arises that gets serious, and you actually get to decide how violent it gets because you have the skill to decide. You know what I mean? You know, I said we like to think about self-defense as this dark alley coming out of Target at 2 a.m. and this guy wants to take your car or whatever, or take your wallet. I said, but a lot of times, you know who you got to deal with? Your drunk uncle. We all got him. We all got the drunk uncle. We all got the aunt who doesn't know how to chill out after the
Mhm.
funeral, right? Or whatever.
Mhm.
And then it's like, it's not about fighting to the death. It's about, hey, can we just like uh keep auntie in a bear hug real quick until her sisters can calm her down, right?
Sure.
Can we just get the
Sure.
uncle to chill out? We know we all love the 49ers. We know the Raiders. Right? Come on, man. You know, I just
Yeah,
like the
Super
Niners.
Bowl, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and get him some water, right? And
Yeah.
I think there's still some grilled chicken. Give him some, right? And he can chill out, right? Like this is what the martial arts can afford those who are willing to practice.
No, absolutely, right? Yeah, yeah, I know you're big into philosophy too, man, like, the catharsis is everything, man. It's like it's you need it, right? And sometimes your mind and your heart, your spirit can't figure it out, and
Mm,
sometimes you need to release it physically,
mm.
and
It's
whether that's, like, punching a pillow or even, like, in the movie, right? A little kid scream like, like, you have to get it out, like s
getting hit, right? Like I know that sounds weird, but
Sure.
sometimes, like I'll tell you right now, there was a time when I was in the early days of my divorce, and this dude called me and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like chilling. He's like, "Hey, I got a super fight for you. You wanna compete?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Bro, I was not training at all. I was not rolling. Everyone knows me at that time. All I was doing was showing moves. I was teaching, but I wasn't rolling. I was teaching, but I wasn't jogging. I wasn't doing push-ups. I wasn't doing drills. I
No,
would
I
teach
hear you. It's
because I
different.
was just, the divorce was so crazy. You're just trying to get through the day. And I ended up doing over the course of 6 months, I did like 2 super fights. I lost both on points. But why did I fight? Because I just wanted to feel alive. And I knew that if someone tried to put their hands around my neck, if they try to throw me, if they try to pin me, if they try to control me, that I would fight back. And so I didn't care that I didn't win. What I was grateful for was the opportunity to express myself and to just walk through the fire on my own terms. Right.
Wow, wow.
And
No,
and
that's amazing.
that's what it's about. And sometimes those moments are more priceless than any medal, than any belt.
No, it is. No, for sure. And then that's the beauty of a individual sport versus like a group sport, right? Because
Totally.
like, you have to like share, and of course, team sports are important too, right? But like, you have
Oh,
the ability to like, it's on you, right? You got
totally.
this. You figure it out, and even it's not, you figure it out, right?
No,
Oh
totally.
wow.
You
No,
know,
no,
it's
no. Yeah,
it's a
there's
big deal, and I love it, man. I love it. So I'm always going to be a champion of combat sports, period. But especially for young people, and especially for women and girls.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? I love it. Like we have a young grappling girl. Her name is Katerina, and she's like 16. She was 15. She won Abu Dhabi Open, took gold, and then fought in the women's division and got silver and tapped everyone with an armbar except the last woman. Right. And
Wow.
so now
Damn.
she's in the process of get ready for Nogi Worlds coming up down in LA. And, you know, I can't even imagine being as good as her at that age, having that discipline, having that, you know what I mean?
No, dude.
Doesn't
And then
mean that she's still not a silly girl who will
yeah.
a stupid joke or talk about, whatever music or movie or whatever, but then like it's on the mat and you're like, oh my God, right? And it's like so cool, right? And so it's like, wow, man, like just to see young girls. She's just one of many girls at our school who are impressive. You know what I mean? And if one more girl every other month can join and feel half of what she's experiencing, that's what I want, you know?
No, absolutely, right? And then no, that's amazing, man. And like, no, there's something that happens with because I've seen it too. You know, I've been training for a bit too, and when kids start so young and you start seeing them grow up, and then they do the puberty, you can even see the way their joints develop, and then the way like they have an awareness where they can be in tight spots and they don't tap, and they're just it's like a
Mhm.
whole. It's crazy, man.
No, it is, man. It's crazy. It's powerful. The other week, there's another young girl. I don't know. She might be 9 or 10, bro. And I saw her rolling with this boy, took him down, got the mount, and hit a mounted triangle armbar. And I was just thinking about how crazy, like, and she was just looking at him. She was like, do, 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 lock the trunk.
Crazy.
Wow. And the kid was like, and you could see his brain was like, oh my
Dude,
God.
and that's such a humiliating move for those who are listening to this or watching this and like don't get the concept of it because someone's on top of you trying to rip your arm off. It's so much more humiliating because you could see it coming.
Watch it, and you have to watch the whole ending, right? You're like, oh no. And it's
Yeah, dude. Dang.
but like, you know, she got up and I could see the boy was kind of shook and he almost wanted to cry. And I was like, bro, don't worry about it. This is jujitsu, man. Like, and he was like, okay, took a deep breath, got back into it, right? And you know, one of the things that I think about for all of these, and I know we keep talking about jujitsu right now, but I know it applies to boxing and everything else, is when a young girl or a young woman finds her physical power, you empower the earth, right? Because she's going to be a mother. She's going to be a teacher. She's going to be an auntie. She's going to be, you know, she is a sister, older, younger, whatever. And I was telling one of my friends whose daughter is a very good. I said, man, can you imagine the type of women that will evolve in the future because they did jujitsu, because they chose MMA, because, right? Because they're not going to be afraid of their CEO who's talking crazy. They're not going to be afraid of, you know what I mean? Not because like I could break your arm, mister, but like because a lot of the what used to be inherent uh, uh, shield of privilege through being a man, it won't exist on the same way, right? So she'll be able to look her boss in the eye. She'll be able to look her boyfriend in the eye. She'll be able to look her husband in the eye and speak from a totally different place within herself because she will not be afraid because she's trained, because she's not going to be shocked by the physicality of it, so she can stay more cerebral. I just think it's beautiful.
No, it is. And then to tie it back with like boxing and stuff,
Mhm.
women are definitely finally getting like their flowers that they deserve in the sport, right?
So,
We were talking about like Amanda Serrano earlier. As far as film wise, you have like what is it, Girl Fight with Michelle Rodriguez, and you have Million
yeah,
Dollar Baby. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a
Girl fight,
couple, not too
you're
much. I
right.
know they're coming out more and more, but I haven't kept up all of them too, to be honest. But
Yeah.
no, empowerment's it's beautiful, man. It's important, and like Rocky is definitely an empowering movie.
Is a
It's
foundation.
arguably like if you want to like break it down by eras, like martial art movies, right? You know, you got Kira Kurosawa, you got like samurai movies,
Mhm.
but then you have then you have a that's a whole wide category, right? That's like
Yeah.
50s all the way to 70s. And you got like maybe like Jackie Chan, and then like late
Bruce Lee,
70s,
whatnot. Yeah.
you got maybe Rocky, and then Rocky, it also flirts with so many other genres, right? Because even to your earlier comment of Rocky 4, right? You got Hulk Hogan in it, right? And we both know
Nice.
that pro
Hey.
wrestling, jiu-jitsu, grappling has a very connected history too, right? And then
Yeah.
Tommy Gunn, his character Tommy
Yeah.
Morrison was a real boxer, right?
Yeah. Good point.
So there's like
No,
all these eras.
no,
Yeah,
it's good, you know. So man, thank you so much for having me on, dog. I
absolutely.
appreciate anytime you want me back, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? And if any of you guys listening are interested in anything that I've ever done, check me out. Um, on IG at Bishop Chronicles. That's my podcast. I also have a new organization where we fuse jujitsu, meditation, and chess called 64 Blocks. That's on IG at real, the number 64 blocks. And we're starting to roll stuff out in 2025. So yeah, you know, the new Bishop Chronicles podcast will be dropping in the middle of January, and then you know, we'll be doing some cool stuff with 64 Blocks and Bishop Chronicles. So
No, absolutely. We'll definitely put all that stuff in the description. Thank you so much for your time. You have an awesome weekend.
Yeah, you
And
too.
Rocky's awesome, right?
Like, and if you're not familiar with Rocky, please go take that time to just watch some of these films on Netflix. I don't know what platform they're on, but I know they're somewhere, and you deserve them.